Hello, CherieHanson here. We're having another in our days of wonder. I wonder how can it be so friggin' hot. 49 on my deck at the moment, and I'm trying to give CPR to my plants and keep them alive through this period. Today, when I was out weeding barefoot in the early morning when the ground still felt cool and wet, I thought about space. I thought about how we need to make friends with space. What happens in our culture, in a consumer culture, in a competitive culture, in a 3D driven culture, is we're afraid of space. If we stop, will we feel empty? If we feel empty, will we get sucked down into some deep depression and become someone who is incapable of action? And I think this is an interesting point to really focus on. Sometimes it's good to take time between one activity and another. So to go through a list as if you were loading a machine gun with bullets and just rat-a-tat-tat one thing after another gives us massive adrenaline kicks. It is an addiction. It is an addiction to the very act of moving, because what we're missing is sitting in the emptiness. The emptiness is where we find ourselves. If we sit still, if we take time, if we space our activities out, what will happen is we'll begin to hear the subconscious personality that we are trying so hard to run away from. I remember the time I read Thich Nhat Hanh talk about having a single flower on your altar in front of your Buddha, or your Krishna, or your Virgin Mary, or whatever your deity is in your world, in your universe. And that one flower is enough. That one flower has so many qualities to it, so many lines, so many textures, the petals, the way that the flower positions itself in the light on your altar. But our culture does not teach us how to see. It teaches us how to rush, how to chase. I must be good because I did 25 things today. And I can say this as someone who spent decades being a workaholic, who spent decades placing all of my value outside of myself, asking other people to give me my banky and a stuffy and tell me that I was beautiful and kiss my forehead. And something starts to begin when we stop. Stopping is the beginning of getting to know who we are. Who am I? Who am I now? Who do I want to be? How do I want to move through the world? One of the things that happens when you're no longer focused outward, when you're no longer trying to prove that you are worth something, is you come to meet yourself. This is myself. This is me barefoot in the grass, looking at a single flower and talking to it. Oh, look at you. You're so beautiful. So we need to be patient when we're transitioning. I know there's this meme that there's a caterpillar and then there's the butterfly. But what if you don't know what you're transitioning into? It might be an alligator or a flying squirrel or a giraffe. Think of it. If you stop putting expectations on your performance, you can start really getting to know yourself. And the entire goal of our lives, why we're on earth, is to find our way to love and compassion. How can I have compassion for others if I have no compassion for myself? How can I love others if all I'm doing is chasing them and begging for some love from them because my parents didn't give it to me? Instead of turning inward and saying, I think I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to sit. I'm going to feel the breeze. I'm going to walk by the water. I'm going to touch a tree. I'm going to listen to the poem that is forming in my head. I am going to look at the single flower that I want to select to put on my altar. And the other thing that really came down very, very clearly today was, how do we learn to love? We have to teach ourselves. Most of us did not receive the love that a child needs. The society is too blighted, too psychotic, too focused on outwardness to be able to raise a child with this sense of secure, calm self-love. So our goal is to raise ourselves. Our goal is to get to a place where we ask questions. As I was pulling weeds today, I thought, I am pulling weeds so that the wildflower seeds can grow. And as I pull the weeds, I began to understand that it is through the acts of caring. It is through these moments of motion that I teach myself how to love this garden bed. It is through visiting my neighbors and asking them how they are, or taking them some flowers or seeds, that I can fall in love with them. It is through petting a cranky cat who is just so pissed off about the hot weather. So I carefully, gently stroke the cat and say, I love you. And instead of expecting him to show me that I am a lovable person, I am teaching myself how to love without expecting. And there's where the power is. I do not expect you to heal my wounds. I do not expect myself to have self-esteem through action, through achieving, through grabbing, through getting awards out in the world, because the issue is, am I at home in who I am this very now? So that really came in hard today. I think a lot of us are struggling with that. We want to go to the clinic, the emergency. We want our bleeding places to be stitched up. We want attention from outside. We want people to tell us that we're worthy. Oh, I'm with a whole bunch of people that have status, so therefore I must be okay. The big problem with that is if you need to be reinforced, your value has to be reinforced by the outside world, you will never be an adult. You will never be independent. And you will never be a skilled warrior in the walk we are asked to walk on this earth. A warrior trains, a warrior trusts him or herself. A warrior does not expect constant praise. So stop, sit, feel the breeze. Ask your body, what are you doing? Ask your soul, how do you feel? Ask your heart, how much love do you hold right now? And we gain that wisdom, and we gain that security, and we gain that power from stopping. So that's the message today. Thank you so much for liking, comments. Do subscribe to my channel and share it with other people who are walking the walk to learn how to be on the earth that is less torturous and fraught. And get a hold of me if you would like a psychic channel reading. I do cards. I see and hear things from your guides that can make it a very quick lesson about being alive. And I have to, as I always say, thank you and say, I appreciate you.